afternoon. Welcome to Buffalo Wild Wings here in Tiffin, Ohio for the Gary Goff Show, your weekly look at Tiffin University football. My name is Russell Snyder, the voice of the Dragons, alongside head coach Gary Goff. And coach, it's been kind of nice 3 weeks in a row coming back in here and doing this after a victory. Big win for your kids last week at Wayne State. We'll break the game down here in just a little bit, but you got to be pretty proud of your kids. You know, you got the opening week that don't quite get the W against Findlay, but 3 weeks in a row, 3 straight W's.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very proud of how we've prepared the last 3 weeks, and feel like we've improved each and every week. And if we can continue to do that, I think we'll be a force to be reckoned with. But couldn't be happier right now. You're right.
Well, Tiffin University coming in this week, homecoming weekend. We'll talk about some of the festivities going on. Somebody who's been around the Tiffin University program for many years, getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. Let's just go ahead and get that out now. Graham Ryan going into the Hall of Fame. We got to mention it. Grammy, I'm sure, is watching this and probably listening to it right now. And somebody who's been around the Tiffin University football program for longer than anybody. And going into the Hall of Fame this year, and I guarantee there's nobody been more excited to go into the Tiffin University Athletic Hall of Fame than what Graham Ryan is this weekend.
Well, I'll tell you what, Grammy has probably been our biggest supporter from day one. He's always excited to know what's going on within the football program. He's always talking to the guys on campus. So tomorrow night will be a lot of fun seeing Grammy get inducted. Yeah,
but it'll be really, really fun. I already talked to him, and I said, Grammy, I got to have your speech short. I can't have you up there for 30 minutes, buddy. I got to have you helping out here. But, yeah, great weekend this weekend with homecoming going on, lots of festivities, the alumni back into town. As we said, the Hall of Fame banquet going on, all kinds of things. We're going on different athletic teams and different events throughout the week, way too many to mention. I had a chance to sit down with our Director of Alumni Relations, Vicki Wilkins, who will be part of our pregame interview this week, and all kinds of cool stuff going on, but it all gets centered around the football game on Saturday afternoon at 3.
Well, another really cool thing is we're going to have Nate Washington back in town to watch his first football game here since he's graduated. So we're excited to have him in the area, and he's going to throw a party for the entire town there at the stadium. I think he's going to open up his doors at 10 o'clock. So he's supposed to have a lot of food and fun and pictures and autographs and all that stuff at the stadium. So a lot of excitement buzzing around campus, starting tonight with the pep rally and then that going on. But we've talked all week about staying focused and worrying about our mission at task right there, and that's going to be Northwood.
Yeah, the Timberwolves come into this weekend. We'll talk about them. They did not get the win last week. I think it was at Grand Valley State they played last week, and it was a game that was close in the first half. And you kind of look at Grand Valley, and they kind of are creating a pattern this year of slow starts and big second halves. But we'll talk more about the Northwood team here in just a little bit. Let's talk about your Dragons. Let's talk about last Saturday, a game in which, Wayne State is a team that traditionally will line up and run the ball down your throat, and that's basically what the Dragons did. Defensively, you guys are coming of age. My goodness, 3rd straight game where you've held opponents under 100 yards passing, hold both rushing and passing under 100 yards last week, and then your running attack just goes off last week, and you have a great numbers of your passing game as well. You guys just played an awesome football game on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think it was a great team win. We were very, very physical to start the game on the defensive side, and we needed that. We needed defense kind of set the tone for the game, so that way offense could kind of get into a groove, and they did. And because our defense came out there and was really, outplayed their offense and was more physical than their offense, and then you saw that kind of come over to the offense side of the ball. And then up front offensively, I thought they were very, very physical. Our offensive line did a great job creating some running lanes right there for our running backs and quarterbacks. So, really a really good team win right there. Us coaches are never happy. We think we can always get better.
Sure.
And we still made some critical mistakes in some areas of the game that we've worked hard to try to improve on this week. But, couldn't be more proud of the team and how they prepared for that game, how we talked about being the most physical team all week, and we were. It was not Wayne State. It was Tiffin.
Also special teams played pretty well. Had one pretty big miscue on special teams, but for the most part, your punting game was fantastic.
Yeah, Harry has had a great few weeks as well.
Yeah.
He really has.
Yeah, he did a great job. All in all, I think the special teams, offensively, you outplayed their defense. Defensively, you outplayed Wayne State's offense. And special teams, you outplayed them there. So I think you guys won all 3 facets of the football game on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Scoring got started for the Dragons in the fall down 7-0. I forgot about that. Down 7-zip as the Wayne State Warriors get the first score of the game. And then at the 4:04 mark, the Dragons' Jaquan Hardy, first of a few touchdowns on the day, goes in from 1 yard out. Joseph Metcalf with the extra point, an 8-play, 65-yard drive in 2 minutes. And that's what got the Dragons started as they knotted up at 7.
Yeah, it started a pattern right there for the rest of the night. Our defense did a great job of putting our offense in a situation that we only had the short end of the field for most of the ball game. So, that was only a 65-yard drive right there, capped off by a nice run with Jaquan. But, the passing game, got started right there in that first drive. I think Nick did a good job of finding some open receivers to get us down there in scoring position, and then Jaquan finished the drive off for us.
We'll talk about some of the individual numbers here after we work our way through the box score for the game. But also in the first period, Charles Holland, a 21-yard pass from Nick Watson after a 5-play, 30-yard drive, 2 minutes, 35 seconds off the clock. And right before the end of the first quarter, the Dragons take the first lead of the ball game.
Yeah, we've seen that play before for many, many years. Almost looks like we coach it some maybe. But
right.
Nick did a great job. He got flushed out of the pocket and scrambled down the right side right there and found Charles in the corner of the end zone. And really it's hard for secondaries to stay in coverage that long. When you got a quarterback that can escape the pocket and make some things happen with his legs, really put stress on that secondary. And you saw that right there, and he found Charles obviously for the score.
Well, you have athletes out there on the receiving core and an athlete at quarterback. And like I said, it's almost impossible to keep up with those guys for as long as it takes when Nick starts scrambling around like that. 14-7 lead for the Dragons after 1 quarter of play. And then quarter number 2, just about 5.5 minutes in, the 9:33 mark, Joseph Metcalf, a 31-yard field goal, a 9-play, 45-yard drive, 4 minutes, 28 seconds. Now you have a 2-score lead.
Yeah, I wanted to get 7 points on the board on that drive right there, obviously. But, we had a penalty that kind of stalled the drive. And we talk about that a lot. Penalties and sacks are always going to prevent, us,
right.
from getting in the end zone. That's just, you just crunch the numbers right there and your percentages-wise. Just like on the defense side of the ball, if we have penalties and give them, another first down, that's, sometimes leads to an extra first down and points. So still happy that we came away right there with the field goal. Joe has been, another true freshman playing for us. Has got a very powerful leg and been very consistent. So excited to end the drive with points, that's for sure.
Well, the Dragons weren't done in the second period as well with 1:22 left to go in the second period. Nick Watson, his first touchdown run of the game after an 8-play, 81-yard drive, taking 3 minutes, 27 seconds off the clock. And that's, Coach, we've seen it so many times in the past, not this year, but in years past, where the final couple of minutes of the half, somebody will get a cheap one on us or just a long drive and put points on the board. And that can be a heartbreaker. That can be a backbreaker to a team. And Dragons able to score the 1:22 left after a long drive like that, the Nick Watson touchdown run. Now you got a 24-7 lead.
Well, and they took the ball to start the game. And, if you can score right before half, knowing you're getting the ball back, and then you can put any points on the board right there in the third quarter, your chances of winning that football game, drastically improve. So,
I imagine.
We talk about that a lot as a team, both offensively and defensively, and we kind of played out perfectly right there, last weekend.
Doubt.
So
excellent. It was an awesome score right before the half, and the Dragons take the 24-7 lead in the half, and they officially have control of this football game. Now in the third period, with 8 minutes and 19 seconds left. Nick Watson again, this time from 4 yards out, a 5-play, 63-yard drive, only taking 1:30. And now the Dragons really have it stretched out at 31-7, but it wasn't over yet.
It's never over, right?
No, it wasn't.
No, again, a great stop defensively right there, getting the ball right back to us. And, a pretty solid drive right there, mixing up a good balance of the run and pass and, just finding the end zone right there. Probably one of the proudest things right there is Nick checked to one of the plays himself. And, you got a freshman quarterback playing, and when he starts to learn what to see on the defensive side and, if I check this to this play right now, it's an easy score, and he did that. And that's probably one of the proudest plays, up to this season, for him, just seeing it and checking to it and having confidence in this is exactly what he's doing rather than getting the okay from us.
Does that mean it's maybe starting to slow down a little bit for the redshirt freshman, starting to get that comfort level a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, we talked earlier about you can't simulate game speed and game reps. And, the only way for these young guys to get experience is to actually get in and play in football games. And the game is slowing down for him. It's slowing down from Brandon Burks on the defense side. I think you're seeing that, and you're seeing that both these young men are going to be outstanding players.
Well, credit Wayne State. They didn't go away. They came right back and scored and got a 2-point conversion, make it 31-15, and a defensive score. And all of a sudden, it's a 10-point football game at the end of the third quarter. And, sometimes you start scratching your head like, oh, here we go.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think one of the comments from one of the coaches made at the end of the game is even during a blowout, we want to make it very difficult and intense. And, we had 2 turnovers right there. We had back-to-back turnovers offensively, and that's something that we cannot do. We must protect the football. There's no excuse for that. There's just no excuse for that. that's on me. We got to get these guys a little bit more prepared as far as taking care of the football, and we work ball security drill every week. We've even worked it more this week. So just part of it. Hopefully that's a learning experience for us right there, that we just can't allow that to happen, because if you do, it's very difficult to beat a good team. We are fortunate enough it did happen, but we overcame it, and we did find a way to beat a very good team.
Well, that's what I say. I said credit Wayne State for coming back into the football game, but credit your Tiffin University Dragons for when they got back in. The Dragons shut the door. Wayne State did not score in the fourth period. 2 scores in the fourth period, both from the Dragons. So Wayne State made their presence felt, and the Dragons said, that's fine, you can stay where you're at. We're going to push it out a little bit more.
Well, and one thing that happened right there, you kind of thought, well, there might be a little bit of panic in the sidelines right there. I think they scored 2 touchdowns in 11 seconds,
Yeah.
And what I was most proud of is our defensive guys were, hey, don't worry about it, we got this. And then offensive guys were hey, Coach, we got this, don't worry about it. We're going to go down and get a drive right now. And they did. And I think after we went down and got that drive, everybody was okay.
Right.
Everything's going to be okay.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, because it got you right back into that time frame you were before those 2 touchdowns were scored. But getting the Dragons back in the end zone, it was Jaquan Hardy with 9 minutes, 14 seconds of play in the fourth period, a 2-yard run, a 7-play, 49-yard drive with taking 4 minutes and 12 seconds off the clock. Not the last scoring drive of the game for the Dragons, but the last touchdown of the game.
Yeah, and Jaquan set that up with, I think he had a nice, 55-yard scamper down the left side right there. He did. Jaquan had a great night. Very difficult for one person to tackle that young man. He's so powerful and explosive. But, right there, he made a jump cut right there. The safety missed the tackle, and then he scampered down the sideline for, like I said, about 55 yards, setting us up for that last score right there, or last touchdown score.
Our final score of the game came with just 2 minutes, 13 seconds to go on the clock. Joseph Metcalf, a 20-yard field goal after a 6-play, 69-yard drive, taking 4 minutes and 6 seconds off the clock. And the final score, 41-21. And really, the score is almost a little deceiving. It could have been a little bit more stretched out than that, but you'll take a 20-point conference win over a team like Wayne State every time you can get it.
Oh, absolutely. We missed a field goal. We had a chance right before half. Even though we did score right before half, we got all the way back down there again, I think, with about 20 seconds left. Had a chance to score again right before half. So there definitely was some missed opportunities, and by no means did we play the perfect game. So that's where we got back to the drawing board again there Sunday as a staff, and talked about ways to make sure we're secure in that football. And we didn't have many mistakes at all on the defensive side, but there still are areas that we got to make sure we get this right call, or he makes this right check or whatnot. So I think this football team is extremely hungry to get better every practice. And when you're coaching a large group of young men right there that have a desire to be coached hard, and want to work and get better every day, it gets us excited. We want to show up to work on Sundays and put in those long hours. On Mondays, come right back and do it again and again and again for these young men, because if we will continue to improve, I've been telling them all week, and enjoy the process, enjoy the getting out there and paying attention to details and working extremely hard, who knows how far this team can go. But it's got to be attacked one day at a time, one practice at a time.
You got to be real proud of your defense, holding Wayne State to only 2 of 13 on third down conversions in this ball game. A statistic, but your team is ranking 6th in the country in third down conversion defense. But, that's getting off the field and getting your offense back on. Holding a team 2 for 13 has got to probably fit into your goal category for the game, I imagine.
Well, one thing we always talk about is winning third downs on both sides of the ball, your red zone scoring, and then winning the turnover battle. And we feel like as a program, if we can win all 3 of those areas, we're going to win the football game. It's not too often you don't win that turnover battle and still have a chance to win the game, but we did because of our red zone scoring and then our third down, conversion on both sides of the ball.
Well, red zone scoring's been your percentage been pretty high all season long. This year for the Dragons. And look back at the game. Nick Watson goes 18 of 28 for 184 yards with a touchdown and a pick. Jaquan Hardy, 24 carries, 229 yards, a couple touchdowns. Nick gets into the end zone, 62 yards and a couple touchdowns as well on the ground. So great all-around game for Nick, and a lot of wide receivers caught passes. And I saw Jalen Santora had a fantastic catch in that game. Charles Holland is up with 4 catches for 62 yards. 7 different guys catch passes for you in that football game on Saturday. So it's a good job of spreading it around by your quarterback, Nick Watson, and a good job of everybody getting involved in the offense.
Yeah, they did a good job keeping everybody off balanced, and we feel like we can't just take away one receiver because we got 3 or 4 others that can make big plays right there. And then the run game mixed in to keep them, guessing on what we're doing. So we got a good formula right now. Defense, get us the ball back, and we mix things up and get in the end zone. So it's been a lot of fun. Last several weeks have been a lot of fun.
It should be, and it's going to continue a lot of fun this Saturday. A 3 o'clock kickoff for the Dragons for Frost Cow Now Stadium. Is once again, if you can't make it, you can catch all the action at tudragonradio.com as well as at 100.9 WMJK on your FM dial, and you can get free live video at tudragonradio.com, which we improved a lot last week, and it should improve even more this week with our meetings we had down there working with the internet group. So good things happening with our video stream for TU
We're all
Dragon
getting
Radio.
better, huh?
Absolutely, yep. It takes a little time, doesn't it? Yeah, defensively, 2 guys with double-digit tackles. Carrington Conti, who's going to be our guest on the program here tonight, had a huge play on the defensive side, causing a fumble. We'll talk to him about that. And Brandon Burke's coming in again with 10 tackles, and including a sack and 2.5 tackles for loss. So other guys, Austin Jasper, Charlie Cleveland, Jacob Murtis, Jamar Randolph, Victor Cave. it goes down the list. The guys are on the defensive side of the ball, Coach. So for as long as I've been doing this, is about as much fun as I'm having watching the defense play ball. It's a lot of fun, and we'll talk to defensive coordinator Matt Edwards
I'm really
in a little
glad you mentioned Jasper. He sits right here in front of us for every show, and when you don't mention him, sometimes his feelings get hurt.
Oh.
So thank you for mentioning him.
Well, and in part, he loved being on the show so much. I think he sits there just in case somebody doesn't show up, so he can be the first one that you'll grab to bring back here on the radio. But why don't we invite Coach Matt Edwards up here to come up and talk about his defense, which we have been talking so highly of so far here tonight. And as we said, tudragonradio.com, Coast Country 100.9, WMJK. It's a 3 o'clock start. You can catch the replay of this show on WTUD at 2 o'clock, and our live pregame at the stadium goes live at 2:30. Coach Matt Edwards, how you doing tonight, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Pretty proud of this defense, I bet, right now.
It's exciting. They're playing very hard.
Well, does look great on Saturday, and your guest you're going to have up here on the program tonight, Carrington Conti, led you in tackles. Talk about that defensive backfield you got going on back there.
Well, we've got a mix of talent with some experience, and then we throw in some young guys who are very talented. We got to keep bringing those guys along, the Jacob Williams, the Christian Watkins, and I think Carrington's doing a good job. Dejan Isbell's doing a good job of not just raising their level of play, but also mentoring these young guys. And then out at the corner position, you've got some older guys kind of mentoring. Jalen Alexander, who's not been out there as much, but he's helping some of these young guys. You got Juan Nelson, who's played a lot of football for us, and then DeLon Wynn, who is really young, but we forget that because he was with us all last year.
It takes 11 guys to make up a defense, and I'm sure your secondary's favorite guys on the team are that defensive line. They're getting great pressure on the quarterback, so they don't have to cover as long, right? I mean, it all works together. A defensive line gets pressure on the quarterback. That can make you look a whole lot better back there in the secondary.
Oh, that's a fact. The secondary has certainly been benefactors of the hard work the D-line's put in, and the D-line also, there's been a couple coverage sacks, so it kind of goes both ways, and that's a good thing.
Well, last week you held a quarterback, Zazula, who was one of the nation leaders in percentage-wise in the country throwing the football, and you held him last week. Let me make sure I have his numbers here right. He was 6 of 16 for less than 100 yards. 3 games in a row you've held opponents under 100 yards passing. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Wayne State, I think they wanted to try to attack us on the ground, and we felt pretty confident that if we could take the run away, what we do in the secondary matched up well against some of their route combinations. We were going to make it hard for him to throw into some of the tight windows, and it worked out on Saturday.
I think Northwood this weekend will probably be trying to impose the will with the run as well. So they're traditionally what they like to do from up there.
Most definitely, being an option team, they're gonna stress your discipline. They're gonna and not just stress your discipline in the box, but also in the back end. Sometimes a corner can be lulled to sleep, and then all of a sudden a big ball gets thrown. But the guys have been locked in. They've been focused. They're excited about the plan. They're just excited to get out there and play.
I was asked earlier today, are you worried about playing an option team after playing such a physical team like Wayne State that tried to run over you? And it's like, no, it doesn't matter when you're playing an option team. The issue is being assignment sound, and but that has nothing to do with who we're following up with this team with. So I thought it was a strange question, but Matt's done a good job preparing the defense all week, and feel like we got a great game plan, but knowing what Northwood is about and what they're going to try to do. And like you said, they want to lull you to sleep and then try to, hit a big play down the field somewhere. And
they want to be they're traditionally a physical football team. And I think that's the difference this year is that the Dragons can match up physicality. I mean, we've been getting closer and closer and closer every year, but these teams that think they can out-physical us and beat us with physicality, that's not the case, because at minimum we're going to match you with it, and we're probably going to get better than you with our athletes and probably a little bit more physicality than you have. So it's been nice to see that physicality kind of equaling out here, and that's credit to your young men there on the defensive side of the football.
Well, they've kind of taken it on themselves and accepted the challenge and made it almost their mission to be known as a tough, physical defense and really a tough physical football team.
Well, you can see it. You can see it from the press box. I'm sure you can see it from the stands as well, that this football team is tough, and it's a nice mixture of toughness and athleticism. I mean, you can't talk about the toughness and say we're a tough team because we don't have the athletes. And we got both right now, and that's on both sides of the football.
Well, on our game day, 3 of our goals is to be the most physical team, be the most excited team, and be the most disciplined team. And we've been doing that. We've been doing that so far. So.
Well, I know who one of the most excited guys on the football team is, and I don't know about the discipline aspect, but I see it from the press box. That's Carrington Conti. Why don't we get Carrington to come up here? I figure he just put a bite in his mouth as soon as I say his name. But Carrington Conti's been having he's been playing some good football for you this year,
He
Coach.
has. I tell you what, he is a lot of fun to watch play because he might not be the biggest, might not be the fastest, might not be the strongest, but he hits like a train, and he is not scared to throw his body around, and you've seen that for, the last 2 seasons.
Carrington, welcome to the program. Thanks for being here, man.
Well, thank you.
We were talking about, that the fumble you caused on Saturday. That was that young man's first carry of the season. And he outweighed you. What do you listed in the press? What do you list in the program at, weight-wise?
175.
And that kid was listed at 240. And you got him up off his feet, set the football flying, and put him on his rear end. That was one of Matt and I's favorite plays of the football game on Saturday.
The big difference was he was willing to use all 175 pounds.
Well, we talk about that in the broadcast all the time. You're probably the one that does it more than anybody, but your whole entire secondary, you guys aren't afraid of getting your nose dirty, getting in there in the mess with the big running backs and throwing your body in there to make the play. Is that the kind of mentality you have to have back there? It's just about getting the job done no matter how you have to do it?
Yeah, just playing fast and just playing physical and just turn out to good outcomes and just play hard.
Talk about some of your teammates back there in the secondary.
Yeah, I mean, on my side, I got Wynn. He's young, but he played last year as a true freshman, so he kind of knows the ropes a little bit. And on safety with me, I got Dejan. He's an older guy, so he's kind of like a vet back there with me, so we communicate very well. And same with Juan Nelson. He's a vet as well. He's played safety, so he knows the ropes too.
Well, your entire defense, for the whole entire unit's been playing some great football this year. And talk a little bit about all the work everybody's put in, the entire team, and then also talk about the work that your coaching staff on the defensive side to put in.
Say it again?
Talk a little bit about the work. Your entire defense has been excellent so far this year. And it's not just the secondary. It's the pressure the linemen are getting on the quarterback. It's the linebackers making plays. Talk about all the work everybody's been putting in.
For sure. The linemen being in the correct gaps and the linemen just putting pressure on the QB is giving us opportunities to make plays. And everybody just doing their assignments. It's just allowing everybody to make plays and it's having fun.
Let's talk about your path to Tiffin University. Where are you from?
I'm from Maryland. It's Annapolis, Maryland. It's like a nice sized city. And it's just out here by myself, for real. Just became a family out here.
What was the path that brought you here?
Well, I just got an email one day from a school called Tiffin. I'm like, oh, where's that? Ohio. That's nice. It seems far. It was, really like the only school that contacted me, and I was like a walk-on. I just tried it and just took it and ran with it.
Everybody else missed.
Well, and yeah, exactly. And, we almost did too. He was a preferred walk-on to start with and earned a scholarship and hasn't looked back. And, one of the nice things about Conti is he bought in from day one. I think he was here almost every single summer.
Yeah.
Loves to, live in the weight room and hang out with his teammates all summer long. And that's one thing, especially with the secondary. I think they're a tight-knit group. They bonded in the summer. They talked about the season, their assignments, getting bigger, faster, and stronger all summer, and that's what we're seeing. Some of that stuff pay off right now. But thank God we sent out an email. I guess that's how we got it.
Keep the emails going. Yeah. Coach Edwards, talk a little bit about that. About that secondary and the trust they have to have in one another. Because if you're playing, you have to know where everybody is at, and everybody has to play their roles properly. But talk about the trust that they all have in each other.
That's where it all starts with effort and trust. For us there in the back end, if we're not on the same page, if we don't trust that, if Carrington says I'm going to be there, then Juan knows he'll be there, or Wynn knows that he'll be there. Dejan, they all trust each other. They all count on each other. They hold each other accountable. And I'll be honest, it is a fun room, just because we've got some personalities in there that are ridiculous.
Really?
Some of the things that get said in our meetings are unrepeatable, but they are hilarious. And it's just been such a fun experience for me. It's one of the funnest groups that I've coached. And then you throw in some of the characters from the defensive line.
Right.
And you throw in our linebackers who they don't say anything.
Right.
They're kind of sandwiched in the middle of ridiculousness from the defensive line and the back end. But it's been a blast.
Who's the biggest character in that room?
The defensive room or just
Secondary.
Ooh, that's tough.
Flip a coin, right?
It's probably
Yeah, it's really flip a coin. Depending what day it is. Jalen, for sure. For sure.
So what are you studying here?
Criminal justice, law enforcement. Yeah.
And what are your plans when school's over?
When school is over, I plan to go to be a probation officer or just find something and work up from there.
Let's talk a little bit about your time here now at Tiffin University. Let's talk about your game, how you see your game from where you were to where you are now. What are some of the improvements you think you've made?
Well, I mean, when I came in, I played linebacker all my life, so I knew how to hit, but the transition to
That's
DB,
where it comes from.
Yeah, the transition to DB, I just Coach Edwards taught me a lot of coverage techniques, and I learned how to use my advantages. So I just been working on how to cover and get faster.
I think the transitions worked pretty well so far, moving into the secondary. Was that something you were excited about? Were you a little hesitant about? I've always played linebacker. Why they moved me to secondary? Or is that something that you said, okay, I understand why they're doing that's a fit I can have here on this football team?
I was with my weight, I had to play secondary.
I was going to say,
but
By the way he plays, he's not scared of anything.
no, that's what, as soon as he said that, I could tell, okay, he does have a linebacker's mentality back there. But when are you going up against our receivers in practice? Who gives you the most fits?
In the slot, it could be any day. It could be any receiver. It's a lot of talent in the receiver corps. To be
That's
honest.
what I was getting to. I mean, it's got to be great for you guys in your secondary to go up against our receiving corps, and vice versa for the receiving corps to work against guys like you. It just has to pay huge dividends for both sides of the football.
Yeah.
You see that, Coach?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, like they say, iron sharpens iron. And we get to go against some of the best receivers that are in this conference, and it makes us a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Coach, talk a little bit about Carrington, how you've seen him grow not only as a football player but as a student athlete here.
Oh, I can remember him as a freshman,
Yeah.
and us, who's this guy? What's he doing? And I think it was between his freshman and sophomore year in spring practice, we were kind of like, well, this guy's got something. I think he's going to develop into a really good player, and he has. I think he understands what we're trying to accomplish on the defense side of the ball. He works at it. It was probably one of the most important things. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't work at it, it's not going to happen for you. And he's somebody that I think everybody pulls for, because when you watch him play, he really inspires and gets everybody excited. And I know y'all have said something to me before, and God, you see that hit Conti had? Man,
right.
What a nice interception. And I wanted to say one of your first plays I remember was an unbelievable pick.
Yeah.
And was it Grand Valley? I think down the sideline,
Grand Valley,
and
yeah.
Oh,
he
yeah,
was a real young guy then. We're like, who was that?
Right.
Oh, that was Conti, really.
Right.
But he's been a joy to coach and have around, just because he shows up every day with a great attitude like so many of our guys have right now. But he wants to work and he wants to get better. I see him in the office all the time bugging Coach Edwards. Hey, let's talk about this. What do we do here? What do we do that? And again, that's what makes these guys a lot of fun to coach, because they have a desire to improve every day. So we're very fortunate and blessed to have him, and we got a lot of football games left to play with him. So
We have a lot of football games left. 3-1 in the season right now, Carrington, and big weekend this weekend at Northwood before we go on the road as we work our way through the schedule. Homecoming weekend, a lot of people coming back in town, but you're excited to put on a good show for the folks this Saturday.
Yeah. Excited to get back out there again and play again.
Coach Edwards, anything for Carrington before we let him go? Again, time just flies by when we do these programs. Anything else for Carrington before we let him go?
He's doing a good job. He's still a work in progress, and he knows that.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's fun to coach.
He's fun to watch. I can tell you that. Coach, anything else?
no, not at all.
Carrington,
Excited to watch him play Saturday.
It's a pleasure, man, to watch you play football. You and your defense this year has just been out of sight, man. You heard us talk about some of these numbers. 6th in the country, third down conversion defense, 9th in first down defense, 13th in red zone defense, 24th in scoring defense, and 8th in total defense. So that'll be something you're pretty proud of, and make sure you echo our sentiments to the rest of your defensive crew, because it's been a whole lot of fun watching you guys play so far, and looking forward to it on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Carrington Conti, thanks for being on our program, and Coach Matt Edwards, Defense is playing lights out. Keep it going this Saturday, and every week proposes different challenges. Everybody runs different schemes and everything, and every week you guys seem to be up to the challenge. So continued success and keep it going, man. It's a lot of fun to watch.
I appreciate that.
All right, Coach Goff, any last words here as we get ready for Northwood? Like I said, there's all kinds of stuff going on this weekend with the homecoming festivities, Hall of Fame, and also I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of former players that are going to be coming in, probably trying to bug you on the sideline when you're trying to coach a football game. But it's always fun to see those see those faces come back, because if they didn't care about the program, they wouldn't be coming back.
No, absolutely. We actually do have a lot of my former players coming back for this homecoming game, which would be nice to see some of those guys. We got one of our fan favorites flying in, so Pedro Correa is coming.
I know
back
he's going to come up and get on the micro during the game. Yep.
And then of course we already mentioned Nate Washington coming back for his first football game in I think in 11 or 12 years, however long he's been gone. But it's going to be a fun weekend, that's for sure. But we've been focused on Northwood all week and focused about Tiffin getting better every practice and every meeting. So. We're excited to get back out there, but Northwood presents a lot of challenges. They are a really good football team. They started off 2-0. I think it's their first 2-0 start since 2012. They played some very good opponents in Grand Valley and Ashland, obviously, and they present some problems on both sides of the ball. Obviously they run the triple option, and we've already discussed that a little bit. But defensively, their defense line is very, very talented. They got a lot of experience there. And they got two corners that we think are very, very good. So it ought to be a fun day, but it's going to be a very challenging day. And we're definitely going to have to show up and get ready to work and bring our A game, because in this conference, anybody can win on any given Saturday. That's for sure.
That's a guarantee. You better come ready to play, or somebody's going to get you every single Saturday in the GLIAC. The game starts at 3 o'clock on Saturday, as we said, WTUD, TUDragonRadio.com, as well as at Coast Country 100.9 WMJK, and free live video at TUDragonRadio.com. For Carrington Cotti, for Coach Matt Edwards and Coach Gary Goff, I'm Russell Snyder. Thank you all for joining us for the Coach Gary Goff Show. We'll catch you next time right here at Buffalo Wild Wings in Tiffin. As always, go Dragons!